So right after the Skenes game, I was looking around for other sports to watch, and I found the Hungary-Scotland soccer game, where Hungary scored a goal in the 99th minute to push them through to the next round of the Euros. And the crowd goes absolutely wild. Fans trying to get onto the field, beers thrown into the air. I'm pretty sure I saw people making love to one another in the stands. And sometimes there's going to be that catharsis, that release, that unbelievable jolt of emotion. And it was something to behold. I might tweet the video out. Just the crowd going absolutely buck wild. And then sometimes there's a moment in sports where all you can do is giggle. That's what I found myself doing when Paul Skenes threw 102 on his final pitch. I laughed out loud, Dorin. It wasn't a fist bump. It wasn't a yeah. It was a laugh. And then they cut to Paul Skenes walking off the mound, and he's laughing.
Yep.
And Joe Block had a line on the TV side. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. Paul Skenes is for real, and he's so good that I think a lot of people had that same reaction. You just laughed. 98 pitches. It was warm. His 98th pitch was the hardest pitch he threw. And so we can do the negative thing, and we will do the negative thing. There's a lot of negatives to take away from this weekend series against the Tampa Bay Rays. But the positive is that guy is so good, he makes me giggle, Dorin.
Yeah, he made me smirk, and I think I smirked the same time when they cut to him, and he was smirking walking off the mound. The thing that's positive for me, Crowley, is that he can fight. He can fight. The first pitch he threw in the game was what?
Dong.
Gone. And he kept his head, and he stayed in it, and he fought back and became himself again. That usually is demoralizing for young pitchers or even young players in any sport if you get just taken. You know, I mean, that first time you throw the ball and you watch it and it hits that foul pole and it's a home run, there's better chances of a lot of players going down, spiraling down,
yes,
and not having a great outing. But he fought back. He stayed in it. He stayed true to himself, and he showed that he has a lot of what to him.
Chutzpah.
Yep.
He got that chutzpah.
Yeah, the chutzpah.
According to Mad Dog Russo. Man, that's well said, because, and I don't mean to talk junk on guys, but I feel like if Quinn Priester gives up a home run on the first pitch, he's going in the tank.
Uh-huh.
I feel like early career Mitch Keller gives up a home run, he's going in the tank. And it's not just Skenes that has that trait. It's Jared Jones, too. Jared Jones plunks a guy in the first inning on Friday night, and then he hits a guy in the face with 100 miles an hour. He could not locate the fastball in the first inning. He hits a guy in the face. He could have killed him. The trainer comes out waving, hey, let's go. This guy's face exploded because Jared Jones hit a guy with 100 miles an hour. And then what does Jared Jones do? That doesn't rattle him. He settles down. He goes 7 innings and was really good. The Pirates have 2 pitchers who are 22 years old that do not get rattled. Their stuff is great. 98, 99, 100 miles an hour from Jones. Same thing with Skenes and his wide array of pitches. But you're right, man. The demeanor from these guys and their ability to stay with it and then seemingly get better as the start goes on, that's the kind of you-know-what you can't teach. And so Skenes, after that tough first inning, and he was dancing through the raindrops early, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned, 8 strikeouts, and they let him throw 98 pitches. I didn't think he'd go back out there for the 7th. I'm happy he did. He's now 3rd in the league in ERA with a 2.14 mark. He's gone 47 in the 3rd innings, just given up 38 hits, 8 walks. So his whip is below 1. 46 base runners in 47 in the 3rd innings, 61 strikeouts. But here's where the bad comes in, because he's been fabulous. The Pirates are 6-2 in Skenes' starts. They should be 8-0. The 2 losses that the Pirates have suffered when he's gone out there, he pitched 13 innings and gave up 2 runs combined in the games they lost. He has never left a game with the Pirates trailing.
Right.
So it's great that every time he goes out there, damn right, he's going to give you a chance to win. But that they've lost 2 of those games is frankly disastrous, Dorin.
And you can almost feel it. Like, I could almost feel it. Like, as soon as he gets taken out, it's like, oh, my gosh, here we go. Here we go. This is where they do it. This is where they do the thing. And there's a lot of people are like, why don't you leave him in? I mean, they're not going to. But you just, like, I just have that bad feeling every single time that they take him out, that something bad's going to happen. And they might lose the game. Now, I mean, the ratio of it obviously is good, but
6-2 is good.
Like yesterday, I had that feeling. I was like, okay, like they're probably going to lose.
And you know what, man? A lot of that has to do, and I feel like we're beating a dead horse when we talk about stuff like this. It's that Sunday lineup.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying they lost the game before the game started, but here's the bottom of your lineup yesterday. Actually, here's your top three. Ke'Bryan Hayes in the leadoff spot, which Callis wanted to talk about. We'll get to. He's hitting .230. So Kutch doesn't play, or at least doesn't start, and that's the guy you turn to lead off.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of good options, but he's hitting .230. Please, miss me with that. Then you got Brian Reynolds, who's hotter than hot, and then O'Neal Cruz. That's your top three. But then, here's the rest of your lineup in a Skenes day, in a series that you, again, need to win because you're at home. Rowdy Tellez hits cleanup. And he's been better, but come on. Edward Olivares, 224. Jared Triolo, 209. Jack Sawinski, 170. Yasmani Grandal, 184. Michael A. Taylor, 192. Jason DeLay, 083. The bottom six hitters in the Pirates lineup yesterday are all at, below, or near the Mendoza line.
Mm-hmm.
So when they score one run and only get 3 hits in a game started by a pitcher who had a 5.42 ERA coming into the thing, unfortunately, you can't really be surprised. And what I'm wondering is, I get that McCutchen needs a day off every now and again. He's 37 years old. But why does Andrew McCutchen need to be on the bench the same day that Nick Gonzalez needs to be on the bench?
Right.
And he's fallen on harder times. He still hits some balls hard, and he's run into some bad luck. I know he's not the guy he was for most of his season so far, but Nick Gonzalez is a much better option than any of those guys and is always, weirdly, going to give you a professional at-bat. You don't need to be sitting Nick Gonzalez the same day that you sit Andrew McCutchen. And while Connor Joe has fallen on hard times, I still trust him to give you a better at-bat than Olivares, Triolo, Sawinski, Grandal, or Michael A. Taylor. All three of those guys sit at one time.
It's one thing to do that and for it to be a rhyme or reason and to have some legitimacy to it. And if you listen to Shelton after the game, like he doesn't give an explanation to why the process goes down that way. And this is not just the first time he's done this.
Nope.
He doesn't give an actual reason, but the kind of lame reason of those guys need rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but do they need rest at the same time? Like, how important is this to you?
They're going to be off on Thursday, by the way. Not playing a game on Thursday. They've had a lot of off days sprinkled in there. I'm with you, Dorin. And to Callis's point, he texted us last night. He doesn't understand why Ke'Bryan Hayes is leading off. I am with him. What I would do is if Andrew McCutchen needs a day off, he's been so good in the leadoff role, I would put Nick Gonzalez up there.
Yeah.
Like when Kutch is off, Nick, you are our leadoff guy. I have no problem with your 37-year-old designated hitter needing days off every now and again. A couple off days a week. Maybe somewhat less is more with Andrew McCutchen. I'm fine with that. But then it should be Nick Gonzalez leading off. Or if it's not him, I would probably turn to Connor Joe in my leadoff spot, who has a higher batting average and on-base percentage than Ke'Bryan Hayes. But all three being rested at the same time is absurd. And Brian Reynolds hasn't had a day off all year. Brian Reynolds, his off days, he's going to be the DH. He has started every single game. Why can Brian Reynolds start every single game, but your 25-year-old Nick Gonzalez can't?
Right.
That I don't understand. He's 25. Remember what it was like to be 25, Dorin? Now you need an off day.
Yes.
At 25, there were no off days. You were living life to the extreme.
Yeah, just waking up, rolling out of bed, and just going.
Your back doesn't hurt when you wake up. Your hammies aren't hurting. My hammy I pulled this weekend playing wiffle ball. When you're 25 years old, the world is your oyster. And this is a professional athlete who works hard and takes care of himself. Nick Gonzalez doesn't need off days, first of all, and if he does, they should not be the same day that Andrew McCutchen takes off. Callis?
Yes. I was just going to put it in comparison. I'm 25, and
You feel great.
I feel great. He should feel great, too.
I just don't understand it.
Me neither.
And it'd be one thing, Dorin, to your point, if you had an explanation from Derek Shelton. We don't get an explanation from Derek Shelton. Well, they just needed a day off. Again, they're off on Thursday. That's when Nick Gonzalez should be getting his days off, when the team is off.
Yes.
He's 25 years old. Brian Reynolds doesn't need off days. Ke'Bryan Hayes needs one every now and again because his back hurts, and that's a weird situation that they don't have any answers for, and you want to give him rest from time to time. Fair enough. Your catchers, I guess, are going to need time off. Day game after a night game. It's 98 degrees or whatever it was over the course of this series. Those things are real. I get that. But Nick Gonzalez does not need an off day. And you can't have that be the bottom 6 of your batting order when Paul Skenes is out on the mound, because you need to prioritize these Paul Skenes starts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When he pitches, you need to win. When they lost game 1 of the series, I wasn't crestfallen. I was not overly concerned about it. It stunk. You had the bullpen game. It was the first time in 4 opportunities they didn't win the bullpen game. I felt good knowing that they could win the series because Jared Jones was going on Saturday and Paul Skenes was going on Sunday.
Yes.
I felt good about it. But Paul Skenes needed to throw a complete game shutout if they were going to win that game yesterday. And it's the second game of the homestand where the only run scored was from a Brian Reynolds solo home run.
Mm-hmm.
How can it be that you've got a guy on a 20-game hitting streak and he's the only guy that's going?
The only one.
It's sickening.
I mean, they usually do score runs for Skenes, but the way that the lineup was constructed, I think that was a disservice to him.
Yep.
That was a slap in the face. And there was times if they cut to him in the dugout, he would be like, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and he'd be right back out there, and he would put his head down, kind of shake it a little.
It's frustrating. It's got to
be frustrated too.
He's used to playing for LSU, and he's used to, in his Pirates career, them scoring runs for him. And I don't blame Derek Shelton, actually, for pulling him out. You know, he threw 98 pitches. You're not going to send him back out there for the 8th inning. And you've got Colin Holderman, who up until yesterday had been perfect. I don't blame Colin Holderman. He was going to have an outing where he gave up runs. That's just the reality of the situation. You're going to pitch, you got 162 games. He's going to throw 60, 70 some odd innings. He's not going to be perfect in every inning. I don't mind the logic in going to him. I can't even criticize him, but it's 1-1 in the 8th. It can't be 1-1 in the 8th. And I think a lot of that most of it, in fact, had to do with the lineup construction by Derek Shelton.